Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon if you're on the East Coast. Thanks for joining me today on this Thursday. This is Brett Owens from Chrometa, our CEO and co-founder. Going to take you on a 10-minute demo of the Chrometa system. So I'm going to review some time that I've captured for myself this morning, from yesterday as well. Going to get that categorized to clients and projects, show you how I can export that out to a third-party billing system from there. Also, we will highlight the capture of email time, mobile phone time, which includes phone calls, text messages, and stuff, as that's a popular topic. I'll show you how to get Chrometa installed for the first time, if that's what you're doing, or to get it added also to additional devices, being more PCs, or mobile devices as well, if that's what you're interested in. And then happy to take your questions. So we'll go a crisp 10 minutes here. I am recording the session, so you'll get an email with a link here to view it afterwards. And then I'll take your questions. I'll also show you how to get additional help after, including a complimentary one-on-one training session if you would like as well. So let's go ahead and get rolling, and we're actually looking at my time for today, Thursday, September 22nd, time that I've captured so far this morning. So the way Chrometa captures your time is it breaks it down by application and then the details of what you were doing within that application. So for example, on my Android phone here, you can see I've got a few entries, text messages going back and forth. So these are captured, sent into the system so that I can categorize these time entries, reconcile them. Within email, I've got the amount of time that I spent on each email here, as long as the subject line and the to and the from. Within Microsoft Word, I've got the name of my Word document, the amount of time that I spent in that Word document. So I've got a capture of my brief time this morning to date. Also have a play-by-play of it available on the timeline. So within the timeline, and actually I had lunch with one of our users last week, and he does everything from the summary. Had a question on what the timeline is for. So I said, oh, well, you should check out the timeline because it is useful for what he was trying to do as well. So the timeline is basically giving you a minute-by-minute, play-by-play of exactly what I was talking about. So everything you're doing. So as your focus, as your attention changes, whether it's on your computer or on your phone, we're going to record that. So as you bounce from a phone over to a computer, we are capturing that at the minute level. We do back on the summary screen then roll it up, so you're going to see a total of the amount of time captured per activity here. But on the timeline is where you get the play-by-play. So we can group and categorize time from either view. Let's start back on the summary screen, and I'm going to show you a few tips for getting time in here first. So for example, this text message that I've got from John, what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign it down to a project. So I'm hitting the Move to Project drop down. I've got a list of clients that matters here. So what I can do is mouse over these guys. I can click to just move it down to that project, or I can kind of do two things at once here by using these buttons over on the right side. So what do these buttons do? So I've got a little annotate feature which allows me to make an annotation at the same time that I move this entry down to a project. So I can say that I want to also annotate this. So I'm going to say talking with John about meeting later today. So this is going to be my annotation. I will save that, and now I've got it moved underneath down to my timesheet here. So what Chrometa is doing is moving it down to the timesheet. It's looking for my rounding setting, so it's taking that entry, bumping it up by the rounding setting. So in this case, it's bumping it up to the 6-minute mark, moving this time entry down here, and this is what I now have. So I still have the original entry captured underneath here, but this is now on my timesheet. And I can consolidate everything to my timesheet and then export that en masse out to another system if that's what I'm going to do with my time. I could alternatively set up what we call a keyword-based rule. So for example, let me go into an email and show you that. So I could say that any time that I email with Brian right here, I can say I want to move it to this project, and I also want to create a rule. And what I'm going to do for that rule is sort this keyword field. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to kind of delete some keywords here so I can say, anytime I am emailing back and forth with Brian, we see this keyword here. What I want to do is always move it to this client, this project. I can do it all the time in the past if I would like. I can preview this. What the preview button is going to do for me is show me all the entries that I'm going to capture as I create this rule, and then I can say, okay, I want to categorize and create this rule, and always move time from when I talk to Brian down to this client in this matter. Okay, so for Gmail, while we're on the subject of email, for Gmail, Microsoft Outlook, and Mac Mail, we're always going to get the subject line along with the to and the from. We can also do email from your mobile device. So for Android, we have an app that will capture your phone calls and text messages. For iPhone, as you know, Apple's a little more locked down, but we can integrate with many of the leading carriers to get your phone call and text message log in there. When your calls and text messages come in, they will look like this. So I will have text messages here that will have the phone number, a contact name if we're on Google, and then the amount of time that I spend either on the phone call or on the text message. Okay, so I showed you a shortcut with rules from the summary screen. Let's get back to the timeline, and I want to show you a little shortcut here for categorizing a bunch of time at once. So one way that I can group time is you see that I've got a slider here at the top of my screen. I can use this to select a few consecutive entries, and then I can hit the group button. So if all of these activities were all the same thing, I could highlight them and hit the group button. This is one way to consolidate these, so to tell Chrometa that everything I was doing in this block of time is all the same activity. Alternatively, I can use the shift key. So what I'm going to do is left click the topmost entry here and hold down the shift key while I left click the bottommost entry, and from here I can say that I want to move all of these entries over to I can say I want to move them all over to this client, this project, and I'm going to give them the annotation. And when I give them the consistent annotation, I'm going to say that this is what I was doing for Kevin. They all get the same annotation. They all get grouped to the same project. Now on the summary screen, they were all moved here. So you see I've got a few consecutive entries that were here, but what Chrometa is doing, it's putting it up to our rounding setting, so rounding it up to the 6-minute increment for us and moving it into this bucket. Okay, so now that I got time down on my timesheet, this is where I can export it out to a third-party system. So we do have integrations with practice management systems, accounting systems, project management systems. Let me give you the rundown here under our integrations. So I'm going over on the left side. Under account integrations is where you can set something up. So in the practice management world, for example, if I want to integrate with Clio, what I'll do is I'll hit the connect button and then set up that connection with Clio. This allows me to import my Clio clients and matters into Chrometa as clients and projects. Gives me access to those so that when I'm assigning time, I can assign time directly to those, and then as I export them, they're going to go back out to Clio. They're going to show up as if they were entries created directly in that system. So it's going to work the same for our other practice management partners. Same with our other accounting partners, with Xero, FreshBooks, QuickBooks Online being popular ones here. So if you're a QuickBooks Online user, you can sync up Chrometa with your QuickBooks Online account, import your project into our system here, do your time entry assignment, and then export it back out. Okay, I got 1 minute to go here, so I will show you how to first get Chrometa on additional devices. So our free trial page, which let me pop this in the chat window here for everyone. So if you would like to install Chrometa for the first time or add it to additional devices for tracking, here's a handy page that has all of our download links. As I mentioned, we do offer one-on-one complimentary training sessions. So if you would like to schedule a follow-up to this one, this will be one-on-one with one of our trainers. You can schedule that here, and I will give you this link. Finally, support. You can find our support info on our homepage here. via our contact page in the upper right. We have support available 6 days a week, starts on Sunday, goes through Friday, and includes holidays as well. So you can get support starting on Sunday from our friendly chat or phone folks, email as well. On our website, lower right, you can pop up a chat. Within Chrometa itself, lower right, you can start a chat at any time also. So if there are things that we can help you out with, please let us know. Otherwise, thank you for joining. I am happy to take questions, by the way. So I mentioned at the outset, but if you have any questions before we adjourn here, please go ahead and type those in. I'd be happy to circle back with your demo, anything that you would like to see. Otherwise, we're here and happy to chat with you kind of as you get into the system, so keep us posted. Looks like we're good on questions, so we'll let everyone go. Again, we'll post a recording and get a link out to you if you want to reference this. But thanks for joining our 10-minute demo. Hope it was helpful. Stay in touch. Let us know how everything's going for you, and hope to talk to you soon.